Okay, well, everybody, if y'all ready, all right, y'all, let's get ready for the sizzle. Give it to me early.
Insecure's Amanda Seales announced she's leaving The Real after 6 months. On an Instagram Live with actor producer Brandon Dixon of hit Stars series Power, Amanda revealed that what prompted her decision to leave the show. She said, "I didn't renew it," in regards to her contract. "I didn't renew it because it doesn't feel good to my soul to be at a place where I cannot speak to my people the way they need to be spoken to, and where the people who are speaking to me in disparaging ways are not being handled. I'm not at a space where, as a full black woman, I can have my voice. I'm sorry, I'm not at a space where, as a full black woman, I can have my voice and my coworkers also have their voice, and where the people at the top are not respecting the necessity for black voices to be at the top too." Amanda, she had joined The Real in January 2020 as the fifth co-host, along with Lonnie Love, Adrian Bailan, Tamara Mowry Housley, and Jeannie Mai. So she will be not on the show anymore.
What's your take on that, Sizzle?
You know, I love Amanda Seales because I feel like if I'm going to a protest or I want somebody to speak for me that's in a position to speak for me, I would want it to be Amanda Seales, because she's unapologetically black, unapologetically just like basically says what it is, how it needs to be said. No filter, no sugarcoating it. You know what I mean? Not worried about whose feelings she's hurt. I was watching another vlogger who did, I guess, a segment on her announcement or whatever, that she wasn't going to be coming back on the show. And she was talking about, the vlogger was talking about how that episode where everybody had just found out about Ahmaud Arbery, and the video was circulating. People were outraged. So I think it appeared on Fox. They were, of course, doing a show from home like everybody else is doing. And when it came on, Amanda was breaking down, and they were like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And she's like, "I can't believe I just saw this video, and this guy is running, and he was just shot and killed by two white men with guns. They blocked him off with their truck, and he was just killed because he was running through the neighborhood, and they just wanted to kill him." You know, she's going on and on about it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry." I kind of felt like Fox wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? So that wasn't a part of the script. And the vlogger that talked about it said that shout out to the Impressive channel, because they do a really good job with their news and stuff like that. But they were talking about how Fox they air that on the show, but they did not put that on their YouTube channel. And they I guess she just kind of felt like she's not able to like say how she feels, and the other voices there, it's like, it's kind of like The Real isn't as real, because you should be able to have these discussions about race, and you know, these are all diverse women of different, you know, backgrounds. And it's like, it's a lot of stuff they touch on, but there are certain things that they don't really touch on. And I was thinking too, for myself, like, I put myself in Amanda's shoes, and like, would you take a job where you have to basically deal with the institutionalized racism and like not be able to say anything? Like, I just kind of put myself in her shoes, and I'm like, because she was saying, or because there was a rumor out that she got fired. Of course, people are going to start speculating, like, why did she just leave? Oh, no, she got fired or whatever. But she just kind of felt like, and I feel like she really is the type of person, like, I don't care how much money you're going to try to pay me. I'm not going to sell out, basically. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that too. Like, I don't know if I could take a job and, you know, I can't speak my truth and speak for my people.
Right. she's a Cancerine, and I'm in that zodiac thing, and I'm a Cancer, and it took in the very beginning with Amanda, she grew on me. I didn't see her authenticity in the beginning. Just I don't know her, but just watching her, and I honestly like her. I also think that I'm not in her position, so I don't know. So if she's looking at this and like, well, you don't know what you talk about, but I do know that change starts from the top. And like her voicing certain things that they felt uncomfortable with. And I know that Tamar is now gone because something similar about, her being too real. It's almost like because she's unapologetic, because she has that Black pride, starting, sticking in there. And I know she would be like our sacrificial lamb, but sticking in there and, hitting them where from the top where, no, you're not going to muzzle me. I am going to get this word out. I don't know if things will be in her contract and legality wise, but, she was refreshing to hear because I seen how sometimes the other people, her co-hosts would get uncomfortable with certain issues that she would bring up. And it was really I've not watched the reel like that. I mean, I've watched the background noise when Tamar was on there, but since she's joined, and maybe because I'm quarantining and I'm home, but I've watched it, and I think that she was a great addition to the uncomfortability that they were feeling that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, I think. You want to say something, C?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, me too. I think that I was hard on Amanda Seales. Because she can be a little harsh sometimes, especially when it comes to the brother, right? But I mean, a lot of what she says is accurate. So I mean, I have to just acknowledge that. And it took me a minute getting used to her fitting into, because I wasn't. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't a real watcher, right? Occasionally I turn it on just to follow what's going on in entertainment and to make sure that we're consistent with what's going on. But she made me watch the real because she's she's an academic, and she says a lot as it relates to understanding the nuances in diverse and unpopular opinion, right? And so for me, I was interested in seeing what she had to say. So she actually made me watch the show. And I think I became a fan of hers. She is the unpopular voice on that show. And she would comment a lot when it comes to the commenting that people would do on the YouTube pages, about how Amanda Seales is this and why do you have her this? But she was a much needed voice. And I get what you're saying, Sparkles, about the sacrificial lamb. But sometimes, that potentially can take a toll on you, and maybe she wasn't paid enough to even take one for the team, so to speak, right? But it goes to the point in the narrative of the reason why We Talk Weekly. Nobody can muzzle us, right? You won't hear me saying, Lauren Sizzle, don't talk about that. Sparkle, you're being a little too rough on the police. Nah, that's why we have a platform, so we can talk from a perspective of the unheard voices, right? And those particular voices and the things that we talk about and the things that we cover and the information that we put out are coming from a side where it's rarely heard. So I would not muzzle more than I would push and say, yo, find more stories like that. Because the platform is for people who don't have the ability to have a platform to say the things that they need to say, who truly had the boots on the ground. Case in point, before I know I just kind of co-opted your sizzle real quick. Sorry about that. And I'll end with this. Case in point, we had boots on the ground today, right? At the march, easily somebody who wasn't there can kind of take a screenshot and say, oh, it was a whole bunch of people there, and the black people are wild, or they wasn't really talking about something. It was all these black organizations. Well, somebody who's actually there can talk from a nuanced position to say it was black Greek letter organizations there, not black Greeks. That's different. Right. And so when your knowledge have a little knowledge or background knowledge to come with facts, I can say that I was there. There were black Greek letter organizations there. I'm affiliated with a black Greek letter organization, a Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. My brothers was there. My sorors were there. All of the black Greek letter organizations were there, sorority and fraternity. I was actually there and heard what was said, right? It's not a lot of people who can say that and talk from that perspective. And so it's important for us, if we do have that background knowledge, that we have to come with that fresh and honest and factual perspective. And I'll end with that. I'm sorry, y'all. I just love our platform. And I love the fact that we can do and say what we choose to that will benefit our people. So I'm going to continue to talk.
Raw and uncut.
Yeah, but what I would say is that I know Amanda has another platform. She's coming out with a podcast, so I'm sure a lot of people that were like fans of hers that maybe she got when she was on the show, they'll probably be joining in on her podcast to kind of hear what she has to say. But
she's also on Insecure, right? Because I didn't even realize that she's one of the best friends of Issa Rae, and I was like, oh, she's the pregnant girlfriend. I was like, oh, I did all that time. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I don't think she's no longer on there either, though. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I thought that she was off of that show also. I could be wrong. I just need to.
Well, the new season that just came out, she was on there. She was
good.
Pregnant friend. Yeah, one of the pregnant friends. So.
Yeah, I like her. So Drew Brees, he faced some major backlash for his comments on the topic of NFL players kneeling in protest, especially from athletes, after he stated, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Brees also talked about how when he stands for the national anthem with his hand over his heart, he thinks of his two grandfathers who fought for this country. Those others, I guess, throughout the civil rights movement of the 60s and everyone. Brees also said everything is not right with our country and we still have a long way to go. But standing there showing respect to the flag with your hand over your heart shows unity. He said some other things when he kind of talked about how he felt about the kneeling. He initially talked about it. And that's when the backlash had ensued and people spoke out via social media. Well, Laura Ingraham, Fox News host Laura Ingraham of the Ingraham Angle, she covered Drew Brees' backlash on her Fox News show, the Ingraham Angle, where she supported Brees' comments and condemned the backlash. Well, LeBron, Twitter don't play. They came up with a video clip of when she made comments about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, and then they put that with her comments of Drew Brees. So LeBron retweeted the clip of Laura Ingram's comments on her show about LeBron and Kevin Durant, where she talked about LeBron and KD saying, "You're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble."
Wow.
So, and when he posted the recreated clip of both of those different segments put together, he captioned it, "If you still haven't figured out," mind you, this is after Brees' comments initially. And he said, "If you still haven't figured out why the protest is going on, why we're acting as we are is because we are simply effing tired of this treatment right here. Can we break it down for you any simpler than this right here? And to my people, don't worry, I won't stop until I see. So that's when Drew Brees, he quickly issued 2 apologies stating, through my ongoing conversations with friends, teammates, and leaders in the Black community, I realized this is not an issue about the American flag. It has never been. We can no longer use the flag to turn people away or distract them from the real issues that face our Black communities. We did this back in 2017, and regretfully, I brought it back with my comments this week. We must stop talking about the flag and shift our attention to the real issues of systemic racial injustice, economic oppression, police brutality, and judicial and prison reform. We are at a critical juncture in our nation's history. If not now, then when? We as a white community need to listen and learn from the pain and suffering of our Black communities. We must acknowledge the problems, identify the solutions, and then put this into action. The Black community cannot do it alone. This will require all of us. And also Drew's wife, she issued a lengthy apology and statement on Instagram also. And when he tweeted that out, of course, when he went to apologize after his apology, Donald Trump tweeted, I am a big fan of Drew Brees. I think he's truly one of the greatest quarterbacks, but he should not have taken back his original stance on honoring our magnificent American flag. So Brees, when he responded, and he had added Donald Trump's Instagram handle to his comment, basically responding to him. Like, he's letting him know that he stands by his apology also. But he was like, we got to stop doing that. And I'm just like, why are we putting a piece of cloth above human life?
Yeah, this is hard for me because I don't even want to get to what the Star Spangled Banner, the meaning of it in the whole piece that they left out of the Star Spangled Banner that was so so vile and disgusting, and for us to sing something like that would just be a slap in the face. And I hate to say however, but in me trying to understand both sides, right, and trying to be a critical thinker, if we try to see where somebody else is coming from, right, then okay, we can address it that way. From my understanding, Drew Brees, his father and his grandfather, fought in the war and did nothing but talk about them fighting for the country. And so when he's saying how it feels to him, I can say, all right. Mm-hmm. But when you say things like that, you have to put it in. And before I go there, he has been donating and supporting and speaking out for Black people a long time. Like that, he has receipts for that, right? Mm-hmm. But what I was going to say was, when you put it in context, right? If he would have said everything he said, or prefaced it with, this is all my parents and my grandparents, and this is how they feel, and I can understand how they feel, and I understand the dynamic, nuanced challenges that a disenfranchised community has to go through, and put all that in within his statement, it would be a little different. I think people would have taken it differently. So when you say these things and you want to get on your soapbox and talk about, how profound your stances are, you have an accountability to include the necessary things that's going to be important for you to talk about in the future when somebody listens to what you say, and you're going to have to defend it.
Yeah.
And so if you get on the soapbox and talk like that, you got to be ready to stand up for it and debate it without the apologies. And I think that's the problem that I have. People just talk sideways out their mouth and just say, well, I'll just apologize later. It's a saying that they say, I forgot how it goes. It's just like, do the deed and apologize later or something like that. And I think that's the creed that everybody is standing by, even these major organizations, from even my scope of concentration, which is fashion. Even the designers do that. Put something out, be very disrespectful, hurtful, and racist and bigoted, and then say, oh, I apologize. We're going to get somebody to join our board and help us. It's
Right.
like, come on, man. Like, when do we say enough is enough? And it's hard to just tell people don't buy their clothes anymore when you have tons of it in your closet.
Yeah.
Financially, it's not even responsible for you to just stop wearing your clothes after you spent tons of money with it. If we talk on financial literacy, right? And so you have all these clothes, now you just burn them, unless you have disposable income like that. But to have all these clothes and you saying I'm not wearing them no more because, so it's the situation where we just have to, start from a position where we just need to support our own, buy our own, and we don't have to worry about that. Or if you want to purchase something that's not from your own, be ready to understand that there is potential there, that something can go left and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Right. Can I add 2 cents to that real quick about the Drew Brees? I think that when he compares what his grandfather did military-wise, it's almost like saying, and I've seen one of the NFL players say the same thing. Do you know what my grandfather did for this country? When Black people went as veterans and we fought in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, they lynched us. We fought for our country to come back to a lynching.
That's so right.
When you talk about, oh, I'll never disrespect the flag, which has nothing to do with the flag, you're not even thinking of what your history of what, even with the Tuskegee Airmen and us getting syphilis, like the things that we've endured, even for the good old boys of our country. And you're saying, oh, what my grandfather did. Do you know what my grandfather did? And just to come home, his homecoming was a lynching. So when he got educated more and understanding more, it was like, I get it,
right.
But that, ignorance is bliss. And it's just sad when you really don't know. You don't have the education and you don't have the understanding as to, okay, I know that, what's going on in my house, but I don't know what's going on in your house. My house, this whole development could be to the point where my house is burning and yours isn't, but you think everything is okay because you don't see smoke. No.
Right, exactly. And
it's engulfed in flames over here.
And that's what I was thinking too. Like, my ancestors that fought in the war, and like you said, like, they didn't, even when they were fighting in the war, they were discriminated on. They weren't able to fight alongside, the white military men, or whatever area of the military they were in. They weren't allowed to fight alongside with them. They still had the segregation and all that. And then one of my uncles, he was injured and he was never really compensated for, I think he fought in the Korean War or something, but he was never compensated for his injury that he had up until he died. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they didn't even acknowledge that. I think they tried to find a way to not attribute his injury to, I can't remember it exactly because it was a while ago that I talked to him about it, but I think they found a way not to attribute his injury to him fighting or something like that, so they wouldn't have to pay him. So, when we think about our ancestors that fought in the war, we don't have the same feeling that Drew Brees had. Like, because even the ones that fought, they didn't seem like they were so proud of fighting because of what they went through.
Yeah. A lot of them were used.
I mean, America has
people too.
Yeah, America has a history of, the the people, the soldiers feeling not comfortable with fighting who they were fighting. I remember that big when the Vietnam War, you had even Muhammad Ali, who did not want to enlist and made a statement, the Viet Cong did nothing to me. And we get arrested in the wars, even a war with Saddam Hussein. It's a lot of people that did not feel that war was necessary.
And
the Gulf War, Desert Storm.
And last comment, Sizzle, I'm sorry because I know you're doing the Sizzle, but even now our military, like you said, Charles, I was gonna say Cassius Clay. When Muhammad Ali said, I'm fighting a fight that they ain't do nothing to me. But here we have our National Guard. We have our military during this time. And it wasn't just for white folks. These people were coming because they were unruly Black people and they wanted law and order here in our cities to tame us. So it's almost like this, kind of the same. Like here they are bringing the military to U.S. where we pay these taxes for them. And they're supposed to be here to get us in ruling, to create law and order. What
exactly? Exactly.
That's crazy. So when you talk about the flag now, we're talking about the flag and what his comment was. Now, do we still look at the flag the way we do? And they were here stance, about to attack people here in America, our own military people. How do we suppose to now stand with our hand over our heart singing the Star Spangled Banner? How does that our new generation feel for the same people who are out there protesting, seeing the National Guard out there? Considered military.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm gonna let Sizzle finish that, but when we are done, she's done her Sizzle, we'll still have a little time. I'm gonna show you something that shook me up, as it relates to the people who you're talking about. The Army is out there right now, the National Guard. Wow. Go ahead, Sizzle.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm sorry.
Dynamic situation.
I was gonna say that a lot of people are still calling for Laura Ingraham to be fired from Fox News. I don't know if you guys recall when Nipsey died and they were making a joke about it on Fox News, like he's the one that had the song F Donald Trump, and then they start playing it on their show. And it was a joke to her and her co-host. And yet and still she has a show where she can subliminally, spew her racist propaganda and her racist agenda. People, I'm not even gonna say they need to fire her because it's Fox News.
Wow.
So, she's a huge, just as they are a huge Trump supporter. But so the Celebrity Sizzle Award of the Week goes to several celebrities and athletes. Kanye West, he reportedly donated $2 million to the families of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. Kanye set up a college savings fund for George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, along with covering the legal costs for the families of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. And Kanye was also seen in his hometown, Chicago, protesting. And he's reportedly been donating to the Black businesses there. But many celebrities have stepped up and stepped out in the George Floyd protests, along with the Justice for Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor movements. So some people that have been on the front line, John Boyega, Michael B. Jordan, Keke Palmer, Tessa Thompson, Nick Cannon, even Ariana Grande, Kendrick Sampson, Eagles players, Malik Jackson, even Malcolm Jenkins, he was out there too. So it's a lot of people that are just like, it's easy to donate. it's easy to share a tweet or Instagram post about Black Lives Matter, this, that, and the other, but it really says a lot when you're getting out there and you're getting, you're being tear gas, you're being maced and hit with, rubber bullets and stuff like that for the cause. So shout out to them. It's a whole bunch of other people that are giving so much to the George Floyd. I heard that I think it broke records with the amount of money that it's been getting from donations all across the world, just not, the United States. So
yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. Shout out to Kanye West. Jeez, yeah, I'm sitting here like asking a question, where is he? I didn't know where he was, but to hear all that again, I mean, it's just one thing to say somebody isn't doing anything, but it's another to say that they're doing something. It's just, you just don't know that they're doing it. So shout out to Kanye West. Like that's big.
I think they also mentioned how Jay-Z actually helped the Ahmaud Arbery, their legal team. They were talking
Yeah, he was helping them too. He also took out several ads for George Floyd. I think it was George Floyd. He's been doing some things too. Yeah, he's been doing this. Yeah.
Now, do y'all think this has anything to do with? I mean, it was very tight in the beginning, and a lot of people were protecting their brand. Do you think it has anything to do with, people calling out the celebrities, like when CNN Don Lennon did it? Like, do you think this has anything to do with that?
Well, I know now, like, I just feel like so many people are now, everybody's eyes are open.
Right.
Everybody. It's like, if your eyes are not open, either you're racist or where the heck you been. You know what I mean? Right. Like, even with, I think Roger Goodell, even he was saying something about, all right, like, I guess I can't remember exactly because I kind of halfway read the article, but he was saying something like, all right, we may have messed up. You know what I mean? Like with the NFL protests and stuff, and other NFL players are speaking out. But yeah, a lot of people. I think it's a very sensitive topic, and it's like if you're not supporting it and you're not speaking up, people are looking at you with the side eye because they say your silence is violence.
Right.
So they're looking at you like, why is this person not speaking out and saying something? Are you racist if you don't, if you're not supporting? But like I feel like the climate has changed now, and a lot of companies they don't want to be associated with being racist if they don't say anything, or like, because now it's like I'm on Twitter heavy now.
Yeah.
Wow, but I see like everybody's calling everybody out. And I think people are trying to avoid being called out.
Tell us about Jeff Bezos. Did you see that one?
Oh, he had something about, what was it? School, like a school. I didn't read the article because I was kind of.
He actually responded to a tweet because when you're on Amazon, like a dialogue box comes up and says Black Lives Matter. And a woman wrote to him personally and said all lives matter. And he tweeted and he showed it and said, yes, all lives matter, but specifically Black Lives Matter. I have a 19-year-old son that I don't have to worry about him when he gets pulled over by the police and, can't breathe, versus another man who has a Black son and has to have that kind of talk. Like, it was so like real and not sugarcoated. And that's why he said, that's why this means that Black Lives Matter before we can say all lives matter.
Yeah, and I think the more, I'm sorry. No, I was going to say the more bigger industry corporations that speak out against it, the more comfortable the other ones will to at least say something or issue like a statement or something like that in support of it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are you saying?
No, you're right. I mean, just to the point of, big and powerful people speaking out. Shout out to Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's was on the front line protesting.
Yeah.
That's that. I mean, they will always get I don't even like their ice cream, but I just buy it and give it to people just because of
Chunky
who and what they do.
Yeah, they got some good ice cream. Yeah, I saw that too, Charles. Yeah, I mean, we can say that President Trump being elected was the worst thing, but it may have been a blessing in disguise and been the best thing to allow us to really pull the sheet from over America's eyes, removing it, I should say, and allowing these type of things to take place, because we would have never gotten to the point where we are had we not had the blatant racism that he has displayed and been fed up.
Right. So what are y'all thoughts about, he said, and I think it was in reference to the unemployment rate or something like that with the jobs or whatever. He said this is a great day for George Floyd. I think he would be smiling down. If he wanted anything, I think he would have wanted to be here, especially for a 6-year-old daughter.
Oh gosh, I don't think we have enough time
on all that's going on.
We don't have enough time for me to be talking about that. Your president is just, he's just
Can I
literally
get the StreamYard gel? I need to be able to put
him talking about your president. We just like, wait, can I? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
And what do y'all think about the Black Lives Matter thing they put on the street and changed the street name? What y'all think about that?
I love it. I love it. You know,
is
a lot of
it
people
genuine?
are saying that they.
Is it genuine, or is it just like all right, let's just do this to quiet down the protests? What y'all feel?
Well, it was the mayor. First of all, the mayor is black, and it's a woman, it's a sister.
Right.
And whether she meant it or not, the fact that it was, see, that's the thing I think people have to understand. Sometimes it's little steps, but the fact that, you in Washington, D.C., right in front of the White House, and they showed a picture, and I'll try to find it, but they showed a picture from the air, and it's going directly towards it. I thought it was brilliant.
They also made it where, do you know where he took that picture with the Bible? Now they're doing like a side by side, because Hitler actually had a similar pose, even to the thumb of how he held the thumb. Yes, how his thumb gripped the Bible, which is what the same pose that Trump did. Now Trump did deny any type of comparison with that photo, but the Black Lives Matter mural that volunteers and people took to do together led up right to where the historical church is on purpose. And she renamed the plaza to Black Lives Matter Plaza. So once the tape is gone and the writing, you still have that naming of the plaza that can't be erased.
Right.
Yeah, but I want to be careful when it comes to that picture, because I've been hearing a lot of kind of mumbling of that was a fake Photoshop picture of Hitler holding that Bible. So I'm gonna just throw that out there just in case, so allegedly he was holding that Bible like that. But I'm not sure. What I will,
he denied that if it's an authentic photo, Trump did deny that there was no type of, things that he was trying to emulate or imitate from the photo.
Yeah.
What about that George Wallace statement that he reused? That was George Wallace, right? The Miami police chief that said with the looting when the looting started.
Yeah, he denied that too. I actually did the good news, bad news on that, and he said that had nothing to do with him hearing about that.